Hello. So today I am going to chat about food allergies, sensitivities, intolerances, and pseudo allergies as well. So the last little while, we've been chatting about elimination diets and going through like pros and cons of different diets. And it's just because I've been seeing so many people getting stuck on diets and what to eat, what not to eat. And long term, it can do lots of damage. So instead of just yo-yoing through all these different diets, which are highly restrictive and really hard to commit to, we want to be looking at our symptoms and understanding what our symptoms are telling us. And before we jump into these healing protocols, we want to know what's happening first, right? So we want to know, is it a food sensitivity? Is it an allergy? Is it an intolerance? Because that's going to dictate the healing process. And I also see a lot of people they know some of their triggers and they're just avoiding it. And it goes back down to that concept. It's not food, it's you. It's how your body's reacting to food. So this is what I'm going to chat about today. So we can get a better understanding about what's happening in your body, and you might be able to correlate some of these symptoms and understand what's actually happening. So first of all, we'll chat about food allergies. So this is this is a serious one. So this is going to present immediately. So you'll get immediate reactions in your skin. So typically itching, rashes, swelling, that sort of thing. Hives is another one as well. Or on the more serious side, feeling like your throat's going to close. And that's more of the anaphylaxis reaction. So with this one, it's an IgE response. And with these ones, it can lead to anaphylaxis. So we want to understand what's happening here, because if it is serious, you do need to remove these foods forever. So not all of the IgE food responses or allergies are going to have the anaphylaxis response. Some of them will just have that immediate reaction in your skin. And if it's not the anaphylaxis picture, there's a lot that we can do to help modulate your immune system so you don't have that hyper immune response and are so reactive to everything. But this is, out of all of them, the one that is for life and it's the more serious one. So let me know in the comments below, drop a 1 if you do have that immediate reaction. Hives is a big one too to look out for in this one. So the second one is food intolerances. So this one's going to present in more gastrointestinal symptoms. So bloating, gas, diarrhea, constipation, reflux, that feeling of indigestion where it feels like your food's just sitting like a bowling ball in your stomach. So let me know in the comments below. Drop a 2 if this one's you. So this one's due to enzymes. And it's not, so the one that we know, the main one is like lactose intolerance, and that's because we're not producing enough lactase. And so it's not just about, okay, I'm having these reactions, I need to take digestive enzymes, because we want to understand why you're not producing it. Is it an issue with your liver? Is it an issue in your small intestines? And then we want to further think, well, what are the implications of not having enough digestive enzymes? So not enough digestive enzymes, that can affect your microbiota and then all of the good and bad bacteria. And then that can affect your mucous membrane, which protects your the tightness in your cells. And then if all of that's compromised, we can start getting intestinal permeability where the cells in our stomach aren't nice and tight anymore. Then what can happen is food particles can come through, and then your body doesn't know what these larger food particles are, so it can tag it, and that can create an immune response and create systemic inflammation. That was a long one, sorry. But then that can have a secondary effect on your skin. So that's important to know as well. So let me know in the comments if number 2 is more you. The next one is food sensitivities. So food sensitivities has a more delayed response. So going back to your food intolerances, that is most typically immediate, like right after you eat. It can be delayed as well. But the food sensitivities is a delayed response. And this goes back to the analogy that I always give, that your body's like a bucket. And so all of your triggers and inflammation are drops in the bucket. So this is the one where I see a lot of people getting caught up on as well, because they're like, well, everything I was doing last week is exactly the same as this week. I didn't have different environmental exposures. I've been at the house since COVID, been at the house, haven't been outside because it's winter, and I've been eating the exact same food. And for some reason, I got flared up this week. So this can be because your flare-up bucket is full, and it can be because you might have food sensitivities. I'm not saying it 100% is, but in the food sensitivity picture, this is where it can affect it, because the delayed response can be up to 3 days. And that's where a lot of people can get stuck. And again, this is quite typically, it can present in some gastrointestinal symptoms, but mainly it's going to present in itchiness, in skin rashes, and dry skin, that sort of thing. So if that is you, we're at 3 now, drop a 3 below. And with this one as well, so because it creates inflammation, these food sensitivities, that can add to the drops in the bucket and create systemic inflammation and come out through your skin. So all of these, because all of these immune responses can be connected to histamine, which I'm going to talk about in 2 more. So again, yeah, actually, I'll wait for that one. Okay, the next one is cross-reactivity. So this one's related to the IgE, the first one that we're talking about, food allergies. So this one presents as tingling in your mouth, in your throat, your lips, and in your mouth. So it can also actually present with runny nose, watery eyes, blocked nose, dry eyes as well. So it mimics that allergic response, but what's actually happening is that when you're eating certain foods, it has a similar protein structure to your IgE, your actual IgE allergies. So it has a similar structure, and your immune system gets confused, and then it creates this similar response. And then what's happening is it's just a bit of a confused immune system again. So it's just attacking the wrong things. So with this one, it is handy to know, and this is mainly connected to environmental allergies. So more of the birch, the pollens, mugwort, ragweed, that sort of thing. And again, this one will typically present with the change in season when the pollens and the grasses are higher. So this one is good because it's immediate response. So we can know right away what's happening. We don't have to play that waiting game. So let me know, drop a 4 below if that one's you. And then the last one is a histamine overload. So this is quite common. And again, this one stemmed to the IgE histamine response as well, or just a lot of systemic inflammation. So with histamine's such a big driver for people with eczema. And it's not histamine that's the problem. So I see everybody going on low histamine diets. While that can be helpful, we want to be understanding what's the bigger picture here. So with a histamine overload, it's typically, this is how I see most clients presenting, is that they have a lot of allergies. It might be food. Most times it's environmental allergies. So when you have all these IgE immune responses and actual allergies, part of the immune response is producing histamine. So we need histamine because the histamine's going down, and it's our soldiers and our immune system going to kill the invaders. But what happens is when you have all this inflammation nonstop from your environmental allergies, or it can just be from eating really shit food, processed foods, creating more of that histamine response, more inflammation, more histamine, then your body, your drops in the bucket, your histamine is taking up a lot of it, and all that inflammation is creating histamine. So it's just compounding. It's like compound interest. And then what happens is when your body tries to break it down, and this can be breaking down through your liver detoxification phase 2, it can be in your gut, then your body just can't keep up with it because there's so much of it. It's just like, it's just overflowing, right? So, this is where you can have, the systemic IgE allergy part of the histamine overload. And then what can happen is when that's overloaded, then you can start being reactive to histamine in foods. And so how this will present, it's obviously just high histamine foods, but I see a lot of people getting caught up in just doing a low histamine diet. But you really want to be understanding the mechanisms. Does it have to do with because you're not producing enough DAO, because you have impaired gut function? And then again, then that's going to have the flow-on effect of metabolizing and breaking down your histamines as well. So the histamine picture can be quite confusing, but the moral of the story here is that if you do have a histamine overload, it's not just about reducing your the amount of histamines in foods. You want to be really understanding what the mechanism is and help support the body systems to break it down rather than just avoiding it. And again, this goes for all of your food triggers. So if you have identified that histamine is an issue, that salicylates are an issue, that you have an issue with nickel or whatever it is, it's not just about avoiding it. It's about supporting the body systems to help break it down efficiently, right? Because all of that other stuff, just avoiding it or just putting creams on it, is just a Band-Aid solution. We really want to be getting to a point where we can broaden our diet and start eating these foods again rather than just avoiding them. Oh, and I forgot to say the most important part with the histamine overload. So this is like one of the king pseudo allergies because the histamine overload can present as in hay fever. So the runny nose, blocked nose, sneezing, watery eyes, all of those hay fever pictures. If you don't have an IgE allergy, if we've ruled that out already, and you're still having these symptoms, let's start looking at what's happening with your histamine picture because it presents the same way because it has that same immune response. So I hope I didn't lose you on that one. But let me know in the comments below, drop a number 5 if that histamine response is, the histamine overload is something that resonates with you. All right. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions. This is higher level. So again, if you didn't see the videos on elimination diets and the pros and cons of different diets, drop video below and I can tag you in those because I should have said that at the beginning because that's going to be, this is kind of like the end, like more of the advanced training. But yeah, let me know and I can tag you in those videos. And if you are at a point where you're at a fork in the road, or even if you haven't even tried and error all these diets, there's no point in just going blindly and looking at, and then just trying to go through these different diets. So if you do need some support and you want to know a little bit more about my Love Your Skin program, drop a let's chat below and then one of us will contact you because first of all, like the moral of all this is just you don't want to be shooting blind in the dark. You don't want to just be doing all these diets and just like wasting money on supplements and doing all these protocols when it's actually not relevant to you. So again, just looking at your symptoms, at all the symptoms that I was telling you here, just start monitoring that, getting in tune with your body. And if you do need some extra support, drop a let's chat below and one of us will reach out to you. And yeah, that's all for now. I hope that was helpful and I'll chat to you soon.